Hello, everybody, and welcome to day 77, 7 and 7, 7 and 7. And the topic for today is Docstring. Have you wondered how you can do documentation in your code? Yes, that is the topic for today. I would show you how you can use Docstring in your functions, in your classes, in your modules. So let's begin. Let's learn how to properly document our codes in our codes. Hello there, and welcome to day 77, 77 days. And today is Docstring. Docstrings are very important and they are used to describe the purpose and the usage of your function, classes, and model. So if you want to write clean, maintainable, and understandable code, have you ever written codes that you go back like 6 months later and you don't even know what the code does or why does it even do like this or what the code is for? You're just staring at the code for hours wondering, did I write this code? Yes, you did. You just didn't document it properly. So Docstring serves as inline documentation and Python has a built-in support for retrieving docstring using the help function. So you can write your docstring in a single triple quote or a double triple quote. So this is how the basic syntax of docstring looks like when you have a function. So you define your function, and then the next thing in your triple quotes, you write what the function actually does. So when you're writing it in your function, you're writing the parameters, you're writing the brief description of what it does, and then you're writing the value it returns if it actually returns a value. So let me show you a very simple function. And what this function does is just to add numbers. So these are my argument A and B. And then what I want to do is just to return the addition of A and B. So I have A plus B. So if I want to write a docstring for what my function is doing, you see, my function is adding number, it's taking into argument parameters, and then it's returning the sum of A and B. That is exactly what it does. So I would have my triple quote. This is my triple quote. And inside, I would write what the function does. It adds two numbers. And then I see that it has two parameters. So now I would write parameters. And what are my parameters? A and B. So again, what data type can my parameter be? It can either be an integer or a float. So I would have it here also. So you see A and B, my parameter. It can be an int, it can be a float. And what is it? It is a first number, while B it's the second number. And you see we have a return. What are we trying to return? We're trying to return the sum of A and B, and it can also be an integer or a float. So now if anybody comes and take a look at this function, this is like the most simple function, but imagine you have complicated functions and then a person comes and looks at your function. By just looking at the docstring, you can see what the function does, you can see what parameter it's taking, and you can see what the function returns simply by looking at the docstring. So docstring is just your inline documentation tool. And if we call the function, we have our output. But I said that Python has like an inbuilt support for with the help function if you want to display what the docstring is. So you can have functions and you want to display what their docstring is. You use help plus the name of your function. And when I run this, you see that this is the help and function add numbers and exactly what we have in our docstring, that is what we would have here. So we're trying to add numbers to return results. These are parameters and this is what it returns. So this is how you can print your docstring. This is how you can call your docstring by using the built-in help function. Next, you can have docstring in your classes. So docstring in classes explains the class purpose, and it can also include detail about the methods and the attributes. So if I have a class car And then I have the first one, the init function, that tells me the make, the model, and the year of the car. And then I can have a second function, which is called the car info function. And this car info function, what it just does is that it returns the year and the make and the model of the car. So this is my class. So now if I want to use Docstring, how do I then use it? First, my triple quote, that is very important. And then what is my class doing? What is the purpose of this? My class is representing a car with a make, a model, and the year, because see, that's what we have in whole: the make, the model, and the year of the car. So I put it there like this is what my class is doing. And then what are my attributes? My attributes are the make, the model, and the year. So similar to what we have here, what are in the bracket, the A and B. And then what is their data type? The make will definitely be a string, the model is also a string, while the year would be an integer. So I would have that here, my attributes. So you see, this is a string, this is a string, and this is an integer. And this explains what my class car is doing. But see, we have a function here. We can also have a docstring inside the function, the same way we did it earlier. What is this function doing? This function is going to return, see, we have an F string. It's returning a string with the information about the car. So this is exactly what it does. Returns a string with information about the car. And then you see we have a return, because I said I can add return if it exists, the value of return, if any. So we have values for our return. So we're returning a string with the car make, the car model, and the car year. So you can also add that to your doc string. Again, these are just inline documentation to help you. And then if you want to access the docstring, we know we said that Python has a built-in help function that helps you to access the information that you have in your docstring. So we'll print help and car, the name of our class. And when I run this, you see we get all the information about the car. So these are the methods defined here, the init, the car info, and this is what it returns, and the data descriptor file there. So I've showed you how you can use docstring in functions and in classes. You can also use them for models, and model docstring should be placed at the top of the file to describe the model purpose and the content. So this is like an example. If you're writing the model, you would have the docstring at the beginning, and then it should write what it contains, what it does, and so on and so forth. And it makes it easy for you to understand, because you can easily read and you can easily explain it to somebody else. And then you might be wondering that, is this not similar to comment? So why use comment and docstring to document code? They are quite different. Comments are used to explain the code to developers or to remind you of what the code actually does, while docstring uses it to document function, classes, and models for users or developers. And with comments we have the hash symbol, but docstring, it is enclosed in a triple code. Comment can appear anywhere, but docstring has to follow the definition of the function, the class, and the model. So you cannot just put docstring anywhere. It's after you define a function, after you start a class. And docstring is used in documentation, and it can be accessed using the help function. So let me show you an example of a comment versus a docstring. See, the one with the hash symbol, this is a comment. The one in triple quotes inside the function, that is a docstring. So these are the ways that you can use comment and docstring depending on what you want. Again, you have to make sure that it is easily readable and it is easily understandable, because then if you have comment and docstring and they don't serve the purpose of explaining exactly what your function is, then there's really no need to have it there. So now, how do you access docstring in your in Python. We've used the help in our classes and function, but you can also use the dot doc. Let me show you. Okay, so we have add numbers dot underscore underscore doc, and then when you print it out, you get the docstring. So these are the two methods that you can use to access docstring in Python. So docstrings, you have to be concise. I say keep it brief. Use a consistent format. Don't have different formats for different docstring. And make sure you begin with a one-line summary of what the function and the class does, and treat it like a documentation. Use proper grammar, use proper punctuation, and so on and so forth. So that's what we've done today. Talked about Docstring and why it is important when you're coding. You don't want to go back to your code months later and then spend half the day trying to understand what the code actually does. So that's it for today. That is it for this video. Do not forget to subscribe, to like, and leave a comment. Let me know if you have any questions. And as always, the link to the Jupyter Notebook is in the description. See you tomorrow.